What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. So it's been a while since book 4 has ended. It was a few days ago, so I'm basically going to be giving you guys my review and I'm going to be discussing what I liked, what I didn't like, what I would expect out of book 5 and how I thought book 4 compared to book 3. Of course, I welcome you to share all of your thoughts on those topics in the comments as well. You know, what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you are expecting out of book 5. I would love to hear it in comments, so let's have a chill discussion. And before I begin with the bad things, which, I didn't like about this book, let's start with some positives. So I'll go over what I liked. I really liked the final chapter where the music changed and the Shadows of Valentia title theme played. Definitely got some emotion out of me because I wasn't really expecting them to change the music, and I feel like that's lacking a lot of times in these final chapters, so I felt like the environment was set definitely much better because of the changing music. And again, the Echoes title music was absolutely perfect, and I really liked how there was no dialogue from Gaul, Deke, or Melody, or anyone in the final chapter. They were all quiet, no one-liners at the start of the chapter, which is something which really annoyed me before. Although I wouldn't have minded any kind of dialogue between Guinevere and Freyja, because they have both lost their brothers. So that would have been something that I wouldn't have minded. But again, I do appreciate that they didn't waste time with the dialogues of these, characters which are just there for the banner. And they're just fighting for Freyja, that's it. And I did like the fact that this story tried to develop Sharena. Alphonse has got a lot of time to develop. We saw in book 3 how badass he was by challenging hell. We have seen those Alphonse moments. So I do like that they are trying to develop Sharena. But it definitely took quite a long time for them to start with her. It was definitely good with how she was with Peony. I really found their whole relationship really cute. How Sharena is actually the Peony and the Peony is actually the Sharena. So that makes Triandra the real sister of Sharena. So I know it's a bit confusing, but I did like that and did like their conversations, in the end. But again, I think they could have done so much more with that, like beforehand at the start of the story. I think this happened way too late, I feel like. Maybe in the upcoming Forging Bonds, Peony is going to be there, so she will develop with Sharena. But yeah, that did have potential, but it was done too late in my opinion. Sharena's memory should have been there as soon as she entered that realm of dreams. She should have been able to remember what happened, and I think that would have made it better because, we could have seen these dialogues between Sharena and Peony much before, so that would have given them more time to develop in my personal opinion. And I don't really like the ending that much, so I feel like cutscene would be really nice, cutscene movie like we got at the end of book 3. The 2 story cutscenes which you got for book 4 had absolutely no dialogue, so that's somewhat lacking, I find. The dialogue cutscene between Liv and Alphonse was really good in book 3, so I think they could do that with book 4 ending. I'm still waiting. Hopefully they do it before book 5 happens. So that's all about the good things which I have to say about book 4, and these end here. And now let's begin with the bad. And oh boy, I have some bad things to say about this book. You know why? Because they forgot the whole thing. There were no stakes, absolutely no consequences. Plumeria and Triandra were revived. At least at the end of book 3, Thrasyr and Liv that were shown to us were from alternate dimension where they were imagining that things would go better for their other versions. But yeah, absolutely no consequences because Peony, after giving that amazing speech that all it matters is that, we're fine and end to Sharena, didn't really have any kind of weight because she just shows up even after, Sharena has woken up. So yeah, I didn't really like that. Again, no consequence because Alphonse was never dead. It was just a lie. A better approach would have been to make these fairies reborn as a human, where they just lose all of their powers and they go on to live their lives as normal human beings as they were supposed to be before, they were given the superpower by Freyja and her brother. So I feel like that would have been a better approach because that would have basically made it so that these, fairies are destined to meet again. So Peony maybe could have met Sharena as a stranger, and these both could have felt like, oh, maybe we have some connection, but you know, they could have developed their friendship from there, and maybe we could have seen that in a Xenologue or something. Them just getting along without the previous tie which they had. And again, you know, no consequence whatsoever because Alphonse never died. When, you know, when the idea was presented that Alphonse would die, I thought, okay, Faye doesn't have the balls to do that. Alphonse cannot die. You still haven't killed, you know, Fiarm, who was supposed to die. Maybe she's suffering from like an illness, but if she is suffering from that, then how come Creed and Ilger have just left her with like Asuka Trio to meet, you know, these Forging Bond heroes, potentially who could be dangerous, like the Fallen Heroes. So again, I didn't really buy much into Alphonse being dead. I just try to imagine how, you know, if this story of this game had consequences and stakes, what if Alphonse was really dead? You know, Alphonse, which we know and love, was just wiped out, and the next book was about Sharena and Sumner trying to bring him back. Sharena would have got even more chance to develop her character, but now, you know, in book 5, Alphonse is probably gonna take, you know, the limelight, most likely, I feel like, I'm afraid. You know, and if Alphonse was really dead, Sharena's character would have developed in the, you know, later book where she's trying to save her brother, and her brother was basically this reliable pillar that she could trust on, and now she no longer has him, and she's hit with these revelations that she's not actually the Sharena, and, you know, she's actually a Peony, and her brother died, so she's still the carefree, you know, really cheerful Sharena on her front, but inside she's really worried about saving her brother and if she could actually do it. But Sharena always had the support of her brother, so if Sharena didn't have Alphonse, that would have made it so much more interesting, and that would have given some real stakes. So again, that's just my theory and what I would have done personally and I would have liked, but that's basically it. Even in like book 3, Gustav actually died. He was not revived at the end, and Alphonse still has to fill up the shoes of a king at the end of the day. So again, I think book 3 still had a bit more consequences and stakes. I do like the fact that Freyja does develop at the end of the story, but I feel like her development was just way too sudden. Like she wasn't really a full, like, blatantly evil type of villain like Surtur or Hell that we have faced, so I did appreciate that fact. She kind of just gave up at the end and didn't really kill anyone, really. She did revive Plumeria, Triandra, and Peony was sent back to, like, Asker, I guess. So she was definitely a pretty different villain, but her development just came a bit sudden, I think. I did like that development at the end, though, I'm not gonna lie. And as for the ending, again, the ending is really rushed, as it is with, you know, all of the books in FEH. They just feel like, I just feel like they have so many ideas and they have to rush the ending because they have to sell the next mythic hero or whatever book 5 OC they have to. So they just, so this just haphazardly make the ending because they could have made it much more better. You know, Freyja actually having more time to develop, and, you know, why she decides to revive Plumeria and Triandra, and, you know, why the hell was, like, Alphonse dead. I don't think they ever explained that. That was really confusing, honestly, to me. But yeah, I feel like, again, a rushed ending. Freyr, another OC, I think he was nice. You know, actual sacrifice was made, consequences were there. He died, and because of that, a lot of sadness came to everyone, actually, including his sister, too. So it was an actual sacrifice, not a lie, like Freyja lying about killing everyone and killing Alphonse or Peony dying or anything like that. We did have to kill him, and he was like an unequipped unit. We actually had to kill him. That was definitely pretty surprising to me, but I did like that part. Mirabilis, another OC, not sure what she was even here for. She just yawned a bit, said a few lines, and that's it. In final chapter, I don't think she even had one dialogue. She just had the ... dialogue, that's it. That's all she spoke. Never really went into what Mirabilis, you know, did or happened to her after this whole ordeal was finished. The other OCs, Triandra and Plumeria, were nice, actually. I found their backstory pretty nice because they wanted to be a hero, basically, and Freyja and Freyr basically made that a reality so that they are no longer a human, but they can be what they desire to be, a hero, basically. And that's why I guess their loyalty to Freyja kind of makes sense in a way, because they were able to get this life which was better than what they had as a mortal, I guess. Overall, I think that the, near end or even the midpoint section got really interesting and I got hopeful. Then I got disappointed at the ending. Definitely didn't like the ending that much. I mean, I liked the concept, but not the implementation, if that makes any kind of sense. And when you compare book 4 to book 3, I think I like book 3 a lot more because it had more stakes and Liv was a really, really good OC in my opinion. And Hell definitely felt like a big threat, I think. I mean, she didn't really kill too many people, I guess. But she, she did kill the Sharena of Liv's version. She did kill Gustav. So that's that, I guess. And I feel like the biggest problem with FEH story is that it doesn't really have a good pacing. So I find the pacing to be really, really problematic, and that causes problems with immersion. They need to convey story better, and the pacing issue is definitely really problematic. Now again, imagine if they killed Alphonse. People who quit the game would have been even more curious as to what happened in this game, and maybe might have picked this game up, but they really need to improve the fact on how they pace these stories and how the immersion is there. Because the game is on the decline, honestly. Continuously, the revenue is going down, the player interest seems to be going down. I don't think we get as many new players as before. So I think the time is right now to do it, man. Book 5 could be a really nice thing if they just, tweak few things. They have the ideas, I'm not saying the whole concept is bad or anything. I just have the problem with the implementation of how they do it. Like, more voice lines would be really nice. Cutscene graphic, still images would be really good, like the Alphonse one. When we took the hood off from the summoner and it was Alphonse, that was a really nice thing. And I think book 5 could definitely improve on all of those things. So those are just my overall expectations out of book 5 and what they could improve upon. As for where we are going, I think, as per the Norse mythology, we're going to be going to one of the 9 realms, which we have not done yet. And I think it's going to be Jotunheim, the realm of giants, because Loki is born in Jotunheim, and we have just got a Loki-centric mode in Pawns of Loki. We have already faced giants in like Rooker Siege. We also have Thor kind of testing the might in Mjolnir's Strike. Why would you need to test our might if we are not facing some kind of overwhelming force? Or, Thor needed our help with something else. So I think Jotunheim would be nice. I would like to see that, the Frost Giants. I think that would be pretty cool if they could implement it really nicely and have the pacing and the immersion factor. So I'm going to be looking forward to book 5. Book 4, in my opinion, didn't really live up to the hype or how it could have gone, honestly, to me. So for me, it was definitely a bit disappointing. I still like book 3 a bit more, as I said, but that's just my opinion at the end of the day. So let me know about yours in the comment section down below. And I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support. And if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Mirabilis. So that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.